Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut Craft tutorial. Before we get started, be sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below. That is going to make you part of my crafty family here on YouTube, and I would love to have you join me in this crafting journey. Make sure you also subscribe to my newsletter on my website. That is also totally free, and there's lots of fun things that I send through my newsletter that you won't want to miss out on. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to calibrate your machine for print then cut. It's something really important that a lot of people don't know how to do, and I wanted to show you how easy it really is. It's a really simple process, and I'm going to take you through the whole thing, and then we're going to do a test cut as well. We're going to use Nito brand sticker paper. I am in love with this product. It's so nice, so glossy, and the Cricut can read the registration marks, which is super important when you're doing glossy print then cut. I have a link down below for this product for you guys, and I can tell you for sticker paper, this is definitely up there with my favorites. We are going to do a test cut, and we're going to print out some really cool designs from the Auntie Tay membership. I'll link that down below for you guys as well if you'd like to sign up. She's got lots of really, really great designs, and I am in love with Frozen. If you have watched me for a while, you know my obsession. So I am in love with these Frozen summer stickers. So let's get started. To calibrate for print then cut or your rotary blade or your knife blade, it's really, really easy, but we're going to do print then cut today, and we'll do the others another day. All you'll need to do is open your Cricut design space. You don't need to open a project or anything. You can just start right from your home screen. Go over to the three little lines in the upper left-hand corner and click on those. Go down to where it says calibration right under new machine setup and click that. It's going to give you the options. You can either do the most accurate cuts with your rotary blade, cuts with your knife blade, or cuts with your print then cut. And we're going to do print then cut today. So what we're going to do is click the words print then cut, and it's going to tell us that it's going to ensure that it cuts print images accurately. Cool. That's what we want to do. So what we're going to need to do is select our printer, load white printer paper, and then print. Perfect. Easy. I'm going to go ahead and choose my printer. Now for me, the network one works better. This one, I have to be directly connected. So I'm going to use my Epson 2720 series. Go ahead and click that. We're going to click print, and it's going to print out our calibration sheet. You guys won't need to watch us do that part because it's just a printer. It's pretty boring. Then it's going to ask us to make sure that we place the sheet on the mat, and we're going to place the sheet with the top left corner of our mat and then select continue. So I'm going to go ahead and print this out. I do need to put some paper in my printer. I forgot to. And then we'll go over to the machine so I can show you guys how to load the paper. We'll get it all cut out, and we'll make sure our machine is calibrated correctly. This is the sheet that your printer will print out. And now what you want to do is take the sheet of paper and line it up here at the top of your mat, just like you do when you do regular print then cut. You just want to make sure that you get that pretty straight. That's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it'll do. And then it wants us to go back over to the machine to hit continue. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now that we've loaded, we need to hit continue over here. So I'm going to do that. And it's just going to tell us to load our mat, which is kind of what I figured it would say, but it does give us that example of what it should look like. So that looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and press the go, load it and press go. All right, so we're ready to load. Now I will say mine, it looks a little different than what they showed on the screen. Mine is not taking up as much space on the paper. So we'll see if that makes a difference. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to go ahead and load this in. Now I may need to turn this ring light that's over here off, so it might get a little bit dark, but it won't be too bad. So all we have to do is hit the little Cricut flashing button. I'm going to go ahead and turn this light down, so I do apologize if it gets a little bit darker. But I do that because there is a sensor in here, and sometimes too much light can really affect it. So I'm going to go ahead and let it read our sensor marks, which is what it's doing here. You can see that it is kind of going over our sheet, and it's finding these black lines, these thick black lines around the outside. And it's going to do that on a couple different parts of the page so that it can try to find the marks. So it's going to do it to the top, this side, and then the bottom as well. This part, it's going to do this anytime you do print then cut. This is how it knows where to actually cut on your machine. So that is really important that it cuts that black line. So if for some reason part of your black line is missing, you will need to reprint. So now what it's going to do is it's going to cut, and I'm not exactly sure what it's cutting or where because I've never had to calibrate my machine. So it's just going to cut, I guess, around all the different spots, and it's going to cut on these lines, I think. So once it cuts out that middle line, it looks like it wants to ask us a question. So without unloading the mat, examine the cut lines around the small square in the middle. Does the cut line touch the printed line all the way around? So we'll definitely want to check that. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I don't know if I can get you guys close enough to really see, but what we're going to do is just look and make sure that it is touching the lines. I will say it's not great. So it's hard to see, but I'm going to try to peel it up without like ruining it, but do you see? Over here, there's like no black along the edge, but then if you come over here, there's a ton of black along the edge. So I don't know. I'm going to say no because I don't think that cut really well. So does the line touch the printed line all the way around? No, it definitely did not. So now it's going to say, let's try to get the cut closer to the printed line. Then we can fine tune the calibration. Select continue to perform the cuts. We're going to go ahead and click continue. Now what it's going to do is cut all these little lines, and I think what we'll end up having to do is tell it which line it cut the best and the closest to, and that way it will calibrate so that it's not so off, because it was a little too far to the left, and I can see here that it's super far to the left on all of these right now, but I think they do that kind of on purpose. So I don't know, I'm gonna zoom you guys out a little bit more because it looks like it's a little hard for you guys to see exactly where it's cutting. It's really hard to see anyways where it's cutting because it is just cutting a single line. But like I said, I think what we'll end up having to do is tell it the grid, so a number and a letter based on the best place it cut. Again, I've never calibrated my machine. We are doing this for the first time together, my friends, because I've never had to do this. Mine has always cut really, really well straight from the box, and honestly this one did too. But I wanted to show you guys how to do it because I think it's an important thing that we all know how to do because it can be a little bit difficult. Okay, so now we'll go right back over to the computer. So over here at the computer, it says, without unloading the mat, examine the lines on the top and right of the calibration sheet. Which cut lands the closest to the center? So let's go ahead over to the mat and take a look. So we need to find whichever line cut closest to the center on the top, so we need a number to correspond with that, and whichever closest to the center over here on the letters. So for this one, it looks like 11 is probably the closest to the center, or maybe 12. And then over here, it looks like K is almost directly centered. So we're going to go back to the computer and tell it 12K. So at the top, it was 12. So we'll scroll down to 12. And then on the right, it was the letter K. So we'll go ahead and tell it that. And now we just click continue. It's going to tell us to unload the mat. And all we need to do is reprint and retest the machine. Now we need to unload this one, so go ahead and hit the unload button, and we can pretty much go ahead and toss this sheet. It's not really going to do us any good. We will need to reprint a new sheet, but now you guys can really see how it cut that square. Can you see how there's like some black along that one side? It's really bad. So we'll go ahead and reprint another sheet and give it another try. Now what we're going to do is click continue, and we'll reprint another sheet. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to load it, we're going to hit the go button, and we're going to see if it prints correctly. So what we're going to do is try one more time. So we're going to go ahead and load our mat. Again, I'm going to put this in the upper corner here. Get it nice and straight. And lay that down. And we're going to go ahead and load this again. And hit the go button again. And then it'll do the scan, and it's going to cut the circle again, or the square again, and see if we can get a better cut. Now this can take a couple times to get it just right, but it's just trial and error, honestly. And like I said, with the bleed on, this isn't the worst I've ever seen it cut, but this can really be very helpful if you're having cuts that aren't cutting where you think they should be and where they need to be. So again, it's going to read our sensor lines. And it does help to make sure that you don't have a ton of light on your machine. So if you're doing this in like something like direct sunlight or with glossy paper, you may need to mess with the lighting a little bit and make sure that it's not quite as bright. Now it's going to go ahead and cut out that square in the center, and we're going to see how well it cut this time. And now that I know that it doesn't cut the square again, I'm going to pull the square out with my pin pen. So let's take a look and see how the square cut this time. I can see it did rip a little corner, but that I think is just based on my paper more than anything. So let's see. Oh, that is so much better. So we have a little bit of a thicker line on one side, but honestly, I think that is probably as close as we're gonna ever get to a really good print and cut. So I think you can do this as many times as you need to based on if your machine is cutting really nice and centered. So we're gonna go ahead and use that one. So we'll go back over to the computer and we're gonna go ahead and tell it that yes, this did touch the printed line all the way around. And then it says we're getting close. Let's fine tune the calibration so the cuts are perfect. Select continue to perform these cuts. So we'll go ahead and hit continue. And now it's going to do these cuts again so that we can tell them which one was the most centered, and that way we can get a really perfect cut every time. Hopefully this does work for you guys. It should, and you may need to do it a couple of times, but that's okay. That way you can make sure that you're going to get your most accurate, nicest, cleanest cut. And I think this is a pretty simple process, so anybody could do this. Now that it's done printing, we need to find the line that goes closest to the center. And honestly, 11 is almost directly centered, and it looks like K. So again, we're real close because it was 12 and K last time. This time it looks like 11 and K are our winners. We're gonna go over to the computer, but I'm actually using my pin pen really quick because I just can't tell. L and K are pretty close, but I honestly feel like the L might be a little bit closer to center. I'm just trying to look and see. They're almost identical, so I don't think it's gonna matter, but I think I'm gonna go with L, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 11 and L this time. So once you've decided which letter and which number are the best and closest, you're gonna go ahead and select those over here. So this time it was 11 and L. Now we just have to click continue. And it's gonna do our confirmation cut, and this is gonna cut around that big square, so that way we can tell if it's gonna cut really, really well. Now what we want to do, and again, it rips. It's just this paper. This is not good paper. It's just copy paper. But what you want to do now is go ahead and unload your mat. And I'm going to go ahead and scoot this out of the way because it's a little bit easier if you unload the mat. And you can tell if your square cut really nicely. But again, this corner got messed up, and that's my paper's fault. Don't blame the machine on that one. But I think it cut pretty good. I mean, again, it's still a little bit to this side, but I think it's pretty close. It's close enough that I would be satisfied with this as a cut on a sticker. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this off, and we'll go back over to the computer and tell it that we're satisfied. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick test print. So it's real easy. I'm just gonna use an image that I have from Auntie Tay's business membership. It's one of my favorite things that I have. Highly recommend signing up. I will link her website down below. But it is this really cute frozen summer set of stickers, which I think are really, really cute. So because it's a PNG, it is going to ask us how we want to upload it. I'm just going to upload it as complex. Go ahead and click continue. And with this one, you want to make sure that you save it as a print and cut image, which is the one on the left. Go ahead and click save. And this may take a second because these are kind of large images, and Cricut Design Space doesn't always like these bigger images, but that's okay. It just takes a minute. Go ahead and select the image and insert images. Now, I accidentally had other ones selected, so I'm going to go ahead and just delete those really quick because I don't need them. And then we do need to size this down because Cricut Design Space isn't always the best at knowing its own sizes. So remember, you can only cut 6.75 wide by 9.25 high. So I'm going to go ahead and change our width to 6.75, and it should fit, but I think it needs to go actually to the 9.25. So let's go ahead and switch that, and that should fit our stickers on our sticker sheet. We're going to use some Neato sticker paper in this, and I do have a link for the Neato products down below. They are fantastic. I really, really like them, and they print really, really well. So all we're going to do now is click the word make it, and it's going to show us our printed sheet. So we'll go ahead and click continue, and I'm going to show you a quick trick to how to print these. Go ahead and click send to printer. I'm going to make sure to leave my bleed on. That leaves just a little bit of a border around everything. So if the cut is just a little off, you won't see it. And then I want to use my system dialog. Go ahead and click the word print, and it should bring up a box with your dialog. Once your system dialog opens, what you're going to do is click on preferences. you want to make sure that you choose the quality print as high. That's going to make sure that you don't have any of those weird lines on your sticker paper. Go ahead and click OK, and then when you're ready, click print. So I'm going to cut this on the sticky note setting with more pressure. So what I'm going to do is browse all materials, and I'm just going to search the word sticky, and the sticky note setting is right here. This one I found works really, really well, but you'll want to do some test cutting before you select an actual one that you want to stick with, because not all machines are the same. So I like to use more pressure. That seems to work pretty well for what I want to do. Now we'll go over to the machine, and I'm going to let you guys watch this cutout. So here's our Neato sticker paper. This is such nice stuff. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to place this on to my mat. Just go ahead and get that right in the corner. And again, this is just to make sure that our calibration really worked. And I'm just going to press that down. I want to make sure that's pressed down pretty well. We're going to go ahead and load our machine. I'll pull our machine back down for you guys. Now, because I'm using some sticker paper, I'm going to move these little white rollers just to the side a little bit. I just don't want them to like dent my stickers at all. So I'm going to go ahead and load the machine, and I'll get it pulled up a little bit more for you guys. And then we're going to go ahead and cut this. Now, we already set this to sticky note, more pressure. I'm going to go ahead and hit the go button. It's going to read our sensor lines, and then it's going to cut out all of our stickers. And there's a ton in this pack. I love this package of stickers. I think they're all so super cute and super fun to work with, so I'm really, really excited. Now that it's done cutting, I like to just check and make sure that it didn't cut through on the back. And then I also like to check and see that it did in fact cut the stickers. So I'll just choose like this bottom one down here, and I just use my pin pen because I'm not real good at getting them up. And then I just check that it cut through. It looks like it cut perfectly. So that's awesome. So we'll go ahead and unload our stickers, and I am going to show you guys how cool these are off of the sticker sheet. So I'm going to put a couple of these into my Anti-Tay Bujo. I love this thing. It's so fun. So they have tons of different sizes and stickers to choose from to use in your Bujo. But I'm going to go ahead and, this is February. I haven't filled February out at all yet because I've been crazy busy. So we've got all sorts of really cool little things that we can use. We've got the habit tracker, and then you've got all these blank pages that are perfect to use for just about anything that you want to. And I really like to use mine just as like random like notes or things I need to get done for that week. So I'm going to take cute Olaf here, and I'm just going to put him on this note page because I think he's so cute. Now keep in mind, these are awesome. They are waterproof. They can work with both inkjet and laser printers, and look at how cool that looks. Such a nice shiny sticker. I'm really, really pleased with the product. Again, you can shop through my link down in the description box below. They have a ton of great labels, and I'm really, really happy. So as you can see, our print and cut really did an awesome job. They cut so nicely and so clean. I'm thrilled. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this little snowflake, and we'll stick this guy up in the corner. And then you can just see how nicely around that cut. So I hope you guys had fun learning how to calibrate your print and cut for your Cricut machine. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments down below. If you guys want to see me do the calibration for the knife blade or the rotary blade, please put that in the comments down below as well. I want to make sure that the content I make here on YouTube is stuff that you guys want to see and want to know how to do. If you have any questions at all, just let me know. You can find me on all different social medias. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, and on Pinterest. Have a wonderful day, and happy crafting!